Welcome to our exploration of one of history's most fascinating and controversial practices, footbinding. For nearly a millennium, this custom shaped the lives of countless Chinese women, leaving an indelible mark on culture, society, and individual bodies. Today, we'll delve into the origins, process, cultural significance, and lasting legacy of footbinding. The exact origins of footbinding are shrouded in mystery, but most historians trace its beginnings to the late Tang Dynasty. Around the 10th century AD, one popular legend attributes the practice to Pan Yunu, a favored consort of the southern Qi emperor. However, it was during the Song Dynasty 960 to 1279 that footbinding truly took root and began to spread. Initially, footbinding was associated with the courtesan culture of the Song Dynasty, where it originated as a fashionable trend among court dancers. From these elite circles, the practice gradually spread to other social strata, eventually becoming a widespread custom across China. The process of footbinding was as intricate as it was painful. It typically began when a girl was between 3 and 12 years old, with 5 to 6 being the most common starting age. The procedure was usually carried out by the girl's mother or grandmother, highlighting its role as a generational tradition. The binding process began with soaking the feet in a mixture of herbs and animal blood to soften them. Then, the toenails were cut short to prevent infection, and all toes except the big toe were broken and folded under the sole. Long strips of cloth were then used to wrap the feet tightly, pulling the toes under and forcing the heel and ball of the foot closer together. This binding was repeated regularly, with the bindings being progressively tightened to achieve the desired shape. The ideal foot, known as the golden lotus, was just 3 inches long. The process continued for years, with periodic unbinding for cleaning and nail trimming, until the desired shape was achieved. The result was a drastically altered foot structure, as evidenced by X-ray images of bound feet. These images reveal the severe deformities caused by the practice, including broken bones and permanently altered foot architecture. Footbinding was far more than a physical practice. It was deeply embedded in Chinese culture and society. Small, bound feet were considered a mark of beauty and status, particularly among the elite. The practice was imbued with erotic overtones, with bound feet seen as objects of desire and the altered gait they produced considered alluring. Beyond aesthetics, footbinding played a crucial role in marriage prospects. In a society where marriage was paramount, bound feet were often a prerequisite for finding a husband. Small feet were seen as a form of currency, enhancing a girl's marriage prospects and, by extension, her family's social standing. The practice also had significant economic implications. In some regions, it was a means for poorer women to marry into wealthier families, serving as a tool for social mobility. However, it also meant that women with bound feet were often unable to work, increasing their dependency on male relatives. Footbinding reinforced traditional gender roles, effectively subjugating women by limiting their mobility and keeping them dependent on men. It was a physical manifestation of the patriarchal values that dominated Chinese society for centuries. The health implications of footbinding were severe and lifelong. The practice resulted in significant physical deformities, including broken bones, altered foot structure, and drastically reduced foot size. Women with bound feet experienced chronic pain and were at high risk for infections, which could lead to gangrene and other serious health issues. Mobility was severely impacted. Many women with bound feet were unable to walk properly, which limited their ability to participate in daily activities. They often required assistance to stand up from a seated position or to squat, movements essential for daily living. Studies have shown that women with bound feet had a higher risk of falls and lower bone density in the hips and spine, increasing their susceptibility to fractures. The practice not only affected physical health, but also had profound psychological impacts, shaping women's self-perception and societal roles. The decline of footbinding began in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, driven by a combination of factors. Christian missionaries and Chinese reformers criticized the practice as cruel and barbaric, viewing it as a symbol of China's backwardness and a hindrance to the nation's progress. Economic changes also played a role. As China industrialized, the economic rationale for foot binding diminished, particularly in urban areas where machine-produced goods became prevalent. The practice was officially outlawed after the nationalist revolution in 1911, although enforcement was initially weak. The establishment of the People's Republic of China in 1949 marked a significant turning point, with the communist government implementing strict policies to eradicate foot binding as part of broader efforts to modernize and reform Chinese society. To truly understand the impact of foot binding, we must listen to the voices of those who experienced it. Jo Farrell, a British photographer, has documented the lives of some of the last women in China with bound feet. Over an 8-year period, she met more than 50 women, capturing their stories and experiences. Many of these women expressed a complex mix of emotions about their bound feet. Some, like Sushi Rong, felt pride in their feet, which were once renowned for their beauty in their villages. Others shared stories of intense pain and societal pressure. One woman from Yunnan described how her mother began binding her feet when she was around 11 years old, detailing the excruciating pain that lasted for 8 years. Today, foot binding is viewed as a historical curiosity and a cautionary tale about the extremes of beauty standards. It's often cited in discussions about the lengths to which societies will go to control women's bodies and limit their freedom. While the practice itself is extinct, its legacy persists in ongoing debates about gender, beauty, and autonomy. Foot binding stands as a powerful reminder of the historical and cultural forces that have shaped women's lives. While the practice itself is no longer prevalent, its implications continue to resonate in contemporary discussions about gender, beauty, and societal expectations. Understanding this legacy is essential for recognizing the ongoing challenges women face in achieving autonomy and equality in societies around the world. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the complex history and legacy of foot binding. May it serve as a reminder of the resilience of the human spirit and the importance of questioning cultural practices that limit individual freedom and well-being.